Okay, hi, this is Andy from Able Training, lead trainer and managing director. Sat in a hotel room down in Kent, doing some training in understanding behaviour within child and health and social care for Kent County Council. I've sat in a hotel room and there's been a few things over the last couple of weeks that I've kind of drawn my attention to. And I thought I'd talk about a few of them. Haven't done some vlogs for a while, so hopefully you guys will interact with me on this and we'll get some feedback. So the first one was a company I was working for a couple of weeks ago. I've visited this company a few times. They are a organisation that really are a day centre for individuals with learning disabilities and autism. And I remember meeting these guys pre-pandemic, and the manager of the setting was having challenges. So they had a new gentleman come into the setting. His parents were quite implicit that they wanted him to be engaging in activities and wanted him to be interacting and looking to promote growth in this particular individual. However, this particular gentleman, he is an older gentleman, so he isn't in any way a child or anything like that. I believe his parents are quite old. He's in his 40s, I believe. And this particular gentleman on the autistic spectrum doesn't seem to be overly interested in people. So this organisation were really finding him challenging because he was being quite highly aggressive and just very, very difficult to engage with. And they were struggling at the time because the one place that he had was they had a room set out for him, or set aside for him, that was quite minimalistic, and he seemed to prefer to spend his time in this particular room and refused and would get very agitated with staff trying to engage with him. He just doesn't seem to like that interaction. And I remember talking to the lady a few years ago about that particular situation. I think she was genuinely struggling with it. I think her parents were putting an awful lot of pressure on the organisation to get their son kind of interacting and behaving in what we might perceive as a more neurotypical way. My suggestion at the time, and that she recognised was the right way to go, I think it was just a case that she wanted that external validation to kind of go, this is the right thing to do, is this gentleman could decide what's best for him. He had a level of capacity to kind of decide what he wanted to do with his time. He didn't seem to be like being around people. He didn't seem to like engaging and interacting. He preferred to spend time with his owners, and that's where he was at his happiest, and therefore let him lead the way. Now, trying to build relationships and stuff like that, absolutely, but again, based on his boundaries and what he feels comfortable with. Going back this time, they've actually set the room out a little bit better for him. He now just has kind of a soft play bed that he can kind of pull the mattress out onto the floor, which is what he prefers, and it's all very cushioned and padded. Plain white room. He has a desk in there with a chair that I think sometimes he likes to do some sort of painting, colouring and things like that. He has an Alexa in there that he can control, and he can just choose what he wants to listen to, whether it be an audiobook or music and things like that. But as you walk in, it's just this one room that's right at the back. It's incredibly minimalistic. It's just got this one sort of soft play bed, pull out bed thing. It's got this desk and chair, and it looks quite prison room-esque. Okay, it's so minimalistic that it looks like a kind of what you might perceive a prison to look like. And the lady, the manager, still admitted that she found it really, really hard because it does feel like a prison, that they've created him a prison. Thing is, the door is always open. He spends all of his time in there. He'll occasionally come out and communicate with the staff, something like drink or food, or he signals and communicates with the staff. But that's all he seems to want. He doesn't want to engage more. He doesn't really engage with the staff when they sort of come in. But he actually seems happiest like that. And they've reduced his incidences of distress and aggressive behaviour quite significantly by just letting him dictate the environment he wants to be in. But this is a real challenge. isn't it? Is obviously you've got the parents who I'm sure are just wanting the best interest of their child. Maybe they come from a slightly more kind of traditional or maybe old school, even better putting it, kind of view on what they would like and what they perceive as the best interest for their son, even though that isn't necessarily the best interest for him. And the staff have had that real challenge. And I know when we talked about the kind of change of behavior aspect of things, the challenge was more with the family and getting the family to see from his point of view and understand what he needed. And the best thing to do as far as reducing challenge behavior and aggressive behavior from him, rather than trying to force him to behave in a more neurotypical way, and resulting in excessive meltdowns, behavior, and restraint incidences. So I think it was really nice to sort of see that they seem to have developed a place where he at least felt he could be himself and be comfortable. The fact that they're reducing challenge behavior and reducing restraint, to me, tells me they're probably doing the right thing. But it'd be interesting to hear what you guys think. Do you think it's the parents are right, that they should be, trying to push him past those levels of discomfort and stress? Or do you think maybe they're doing the right thing of maybe slowly trying to introduce little bits and pieces, but going at a real slow pace and letting him kind of dictate based on his environment what he feels most comfortable and safe in? I think it's so difficult if you enjoy being around people to really understand why would somebody not want to be around people at all. But interested in your comments. Speak to you soon.